So now we have part 3 of what if Goku was like Dr. Gero. So in the last part, we see how Goku now captured Raditz, and Raditz's comrades, Nappa and Vegeta, are coming to planet Earth to see what's so promising about this Saiyan who grew up there. As basically now, Goku realizes that he has 1 year to be able to beat these much stronger Saiyans, as he knows he was only around 10% stronger than Raditz, due to his calculations. As now, Goku then decides to do his experiments on Raditz. So first of all, he's now able to see basically what DNA belongs to Saiyans, because now he can compare Raditz's DNA to his own, and Goku learns how to increase certain things in Saiyans. So one thing he noticed that was different, like that he was able to find, was the DNA that manages potential of Saiyans. So Goku realized by looking at his own son Gohan that Gohan had a lot more potential than either him or Raditz, and so using his science he decides to artificially increase this in both of them. And on top of that, he decides to edit Raditz's brain to make sure that he doesn't destroy Earth, or he is unable to destroy anything that Goku cares about or that Goku deems necessary. So Raditz wakes up. Goku decides not to make him a full robot, as he wants to see how Saiyans normally act. As Raditz wakes up, and he asks Goku, "What am I doing in this lab?" As Goku just says, "Oh, I was just looking at how you tick. It's quite interesting, might I say. You're the first other Saiyan I met, after all, so I was a bit curious." As Raditz is like, "You did what?" Well, Goku says, "It doesn't matter. You're still able to control yourself, aren't you? So whatever I did doesn't really matter, does it?" As Raditz shouts one, "Damn you," as he launches to Goku to try and punch him, but Goku simply blocks his attack with one hand and says, My, you've been asleep for at least 2 weeks. Think I'd even give you a chance to be able to overpower me? You must be joking." As Raditz then realizes that he can't defeat Goku at his current state, so he just has to buy his time and just see what's going on over here until his comrades come. So Raditz then takes notice of Goku's son Gohan and says, "Kakarot, is this your boy?" As Goku says, "Yes, it is." As Raditz is shocked, he's like, "How dare you? You've decided to have a mixed blood child? Well, I'm sure he's much weaker because of it. Look at his power level. 1. He has the Saiyans that we know have the weakest Saiyan I knew as a baby had a power level of 10. As Goku then says, "Well, that might be so, but your scouter read my power level as 6, didn't it? Well, there's much more to fighting than simple power levels, isn't there?" As Raditz then takes this to mind. After this, Raditz spends some more time with Gohan, and they actually end up getting closer and closer, as Gohan calls Raditz uncle, calls him uncle. That's how close they are now. As Raditz decides to teach Gohan about a bit more about his Saiyan heritage, and Goku also gets a bit interested as he learns more about where he came from and his parents and all of that. As Goku is actually quite intrigued to hear that his dad was also a great scientist, as he now sees where he got his intelligence from. As Raditz then says, yeah, and he created a whole lot of things. For example, self-healing chambers, and on top of that, he perfected the scouter. As the self-healing chamber intrigues Goku quite a bit, as he remembers the sensu beans in Kami's lookout and thinks if he could do something scientifically that could work kind of like them, beating his father's technology. As Goku then tells Raditz to spend some time with Gohan as he wants to research something. As Raditz takes this as a hint to train Gohan, as Raditz then flies away with Gohan to some random location in order to train him on how to become a Saiyan. So, in the meantime, Goku goes to Kami's lookout and borrows a few senzu beans and starts analyzing them, as eventually he's able to find the science behind the healing properties of the senzu bean and the fact that it can make you feel full for a whole 2 weeks, as he's able to now start producing his own senzu beans using the power of science. As now whenever he needs, he has a stash of senzu beans like on him that he can use to heal himself and to heal his teammates to full health, basically. So now we cut back to see what Raditz and Gohan are doing. As Gohan is on the ground, tired, he had never been worked this hard in his life, considering he's only 6. Raditz tells him, "Come on, boy, is this all that's in you? Seeing how strong your father is, I expect much more from you." As Gohan then gets annoyed at the fact that his uncle is calling him weak, as he rages out and headbutts Raditz straight in the stomach, knocking Raditz out for a good 3 seconds, as Raditz opens his eyes and says, "So you do have it in you. You are a fighter." As Gohan suddenly stops being angry due to the compliment that his uncle gave him, as he then passes out due to exhaustion. And Raditz then thinks, this much power, that multiplication without even going to an Oozaru form. This boy has a lot of potential. I want to train him up some more. As they continue their time training. This whole time period takes place for around 5 months, I would say. So Goku finishes his synthetic senzu beans in around 6 months, and Raditz and Gohan finally come back from training at around the same time. So Bulma shouts at Raditz saying, how could she just kidnap Gohan like that? To which Raditz says, "Shut up, woman, at least I made your son strong." As they see now that Gohan is much more confident in himself and is able to speak with the ability to defend himself, which is something they can't complain about. And in the meantime, Goku then asks Raditz, how strong are these Saiyans, do you think, compared to us? And Raditz then says, the second strongest one was around 6 times stronger than I was when I arrived here, and the other one was at least 10 to 12 times stronger. As Goku then says, okay, that's no problem, as he calls Piccolo over, and he tells Raditz and Piccolo that they're gonna have a training period where they can defeat the Saiyans, to which they both agree, as Goku then shows them the hyperbolic time chamber, and he says, at the point you're at right now, Raditz, you're too weak to fight against me, and I could barely learn anything training from you now. Instead, train with my friend over here, Piccolo. And Raditz is annoyed, saying, why would I train with a Namekian? Saiyans are known to be much stronger. As Goku says, don't worry, he's had a few enhancements of his own, and I might have given you a gift I haven't told you about just yet. Just go in there with him and see how you fare. If you make it the full 1 year, I'll be impressed, and I'll be proud to call you my brother. This surprises Raditz, as he thinks there's no way a day in a random room is gonna be that hard, as he does not know that he's gonna be in the hyperbolic time chamber. As Goku then sends them both in, and Raditz finds it hard to breathe, seeing that the air pressure here is much higher, and that the conditions are much harsher than normal Earth. As now, Piccolo doesn't give Raditz any chance to rest, as he then jumps up towards Raditz to start training. As Goku then Goku left Piccolo with some senzu beans and says, give this to Raditz when he gets tired, as I know you only require water, so you won't need as many senzu beans. As they now get on with their training for 1 whole year. As half a day passes, as we see Piccolo flying headfirst out of the time chamber, which shocks Goku, and behind him walking with all seriousness is Raditz, and as he shouts to Goku, Kakarot, you told me 1 day, I did it in half, but you didn't tell me that time moves much slower over there. Well, it's no matter. The point is, I defeated your friend in half the time that you thought it would take me. He's not even a match to me now. So get in here and show me what you have. As Goku simply smiles, as he decides to walk into this time chamber to spend another 12 hours with Raditz. So Raditz had now basically used his increased potential to become much more powerful, as he had been getting stronger at a faster rate. As Goku is quite impressed at Raditz's improvement, as right now Raditz still isn't a match for Goku, as Goku is still around double his strength. But you can see that in these few months, Raditz can definitely catch up, and that he might actually push Goku to new realms of power. As Raditz then asks Goku, have you even looked into your Saiyan side, or have you just been training as if you're a normal human? To which Goku asks Raditz, what do you mean? As Raditz then grabs Goku's tail, because it was never taken off in this scenario. As Goku then can't move, as he's shocked about this weakness. As Raditz then says, you haven't even trained your tail? Anyone can defeat you if they just grab your tail if you don't train it. It's a Saiyan weak point. As while Raditz holds on to Goku's tail, he keeps attacking Goku and to vent out his frustrations, seeing how that he wanted to exploit Goku's weakness. Goku is now annoyed but understands that Raditz probably had a bone to pick with him as he allows it. As he says, this tail, the only thing I know about it is if I look at the moon with this tail on me, I become a giant monster. That I know. But I found no need for it, as it's quite a primitive transformation. And instead, I just made sure to modify myself so that I can decide whether to turn into a great ape when I see a full moon, or if I don't want to. So, just because it's a full moon doesn't mean I'll lose control. As Raditz then says, but how can you ignore the power increase? The amount of strength that you get from the transformation, 10 times Kakarot. To which Kakarot says, yes, but I lose speed and my stamina goes down and I become a bigger target to hit. So is it really worth it? To which Raditz then says, well, you have the technology, Kakarot. Why don't you find a way to turn this increase while not having to transform into a berserking great ape? As this becomes a new mission for Goku and Raditz as they think about it. So first they eliminate the weakness in both of their tails, as now it's no longer something to stop them. As Raditz then shows Goku a way to transform into a great ape without a full moon, saying that Vegeta used to use this a lot, as he throws a power ball into the air and shouts, burst open and mix, as they both become great apes. And they start training like this for the next few months, until eventually they gain control of this Oozaru state, and Goku, for a few minutes, transforms back into his normal humanoid state, while still having the power increase. But he's not able to control himself from going berserk, as he falls out of this form. And Goku and Raditz are happy to see that they've both managed to discover something new while working together, as their feelings of friendship towards each other start to increase, as they don't hate each other anymore, especially Raditz. So now, it's a few more months until the Saiyans arrive, to which Goku and Raditz are now sure that they can beat them. So instead now they're just spending time with Gohan. Goku teaches Gohan some new things about science, as Gohan wants to be a scholar, so it's quite interesting for him. And basically they just help Gohan with his homework. Goku shows Raditz more about the world, teaches Raditz some martial arts, and they're now ready as the day for the Saiyans to come on attack swiftly arrives. So now Vegeta comes out first of all and looks straight at Raditz and says, "You weakling, why are you standing on his side? Come and join your team." As Raditz then says, I quite didn't like how you treated me like a runt all those years. And now I think I have the ability to defeat you and Nappa, so there's really no need. As Vegeta is very annoyed by this. As Vegeta then says, I hope you don't forget that you are low class compared to me, that my power is multiples above yours. There's nothing you can do that will be able to even land a scratch on me. As Vegeta then takes notice of Goku and then says, so you must be Kakarot, the one who has filled Raditz with all these funny ideas in his head. I'm sure you're much weaker than he is. Somehow you just managed to get lucky and beat him. Well, it's not gonna happen with me, for I am the prince of all the Saiyans. As he then shouts, Nappa, go and show these guys what you have. As Raditz then says, oh well, you think I'm gonna be fighting you, Nappa? You are a weakling compared to me now. Instead, why don't I call you one of my friends to fight you? As he then calls Piccolo to come and fight against Nappa. As Vegeta and Nappa fall into laughter, they shout, a Namekian? You really think you call a Namekian to fight against us? Well, Your funeral, don't blame us for killing your friend. As Goku then says, well, Raditz, I'm gonna leave this one to you. So I'll just watch this one because I trust your potential now. And I think you can do quite well. As Raditz then gets sent to fight Vegeta while Piccolo fights Nappa. Nappa launches a punch at Piccolo, expecting it to destroy Piccolo in one hit. But Piccolo is unfazed as he simply looks at Nappa's hand and squashes it, breaking Nappa's hand. As Nappa is in shock that his arm is broken as he shouts out in immense pain. To which Piccolo then laughs and says, well, not bad for a Namekian, hey? As Nappa then realizes that he's gonna have to be serious, as he starts launching attack after attack on Piccolo, and Piccolo responds with his own attack. He launches a few good hits on Piccolo, but everyone can see that Piccolo is clearly stronger. As Piccolo then decides, well, I'm tired of playing games with you, as he then hits Nappa with a flurry of hits, crippling Nappa on the ground and leaving him broken and battered. As Piccolo then sits down and says, you weren't even worth my time, as he just starts meditating, showing his lack of respect towards the Saiyan. As now Raditz and Vegeta start to fight. It starts off quite surprising as Vegeta thinks he has the upper hand, but as Raditz slowly starts showing more and more of his power, the balance slowly shifts as Vegeta's put on the back foot as he's in shock. As Raditz launches punch after punch after punch on Vegeta, wearing him down slowly but surely. As Vegeta then gets shocked by this, as he says, at least there's one thing I had control over that you didn't, as he then launches a power ball in the air, turning into a great ape, as Raditz and Nappa also turn into great apes too, while Goku decides that he has no need to become a great ape and stays as a normal human. As now, since Vegeta has the better control over the form, he's able to use more of his techniques on Raditz, as Raditz is put on the back end, and he's actually getting beaten. And as Raditz is about to give up and fall out of his great ape form, Goku shouts out to him, Raditz, remember our training. You've been oppressed by these guys for how many years? Are you really gonna let it end like this? Show them what you're made of. As something snaps in Raditz, as his Saiyan genetics then clicks in, combined with Goku's enhancements, as he opens his eyes, as he keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, Vegeta thinking this is Raditz giving up, until Raditz opens his eyes with a yellow hue, as he then unlocks his Ikari state. He then launches straight on Vegeta, swinging him by the tail, launching punch after punch after punch, battering Vegeta, until he starts losing his consciousness bit by bit, until Vegeta is laid down on the ground out of his Oozaru form, battered and beaten, as Vegeta has been knocked out completely. In the meanwhile though, Gohan decided to sneak into the battlefield to see how his dad and uncle would fight, but this turned out to be a great mistake, as now basically what happens is Nappa, in his great ape state because of the moon transforming him, by sheer luck manages to find Gohan standing there, as he thinks, this must be Kakarot's kid. Well, he did defeat Vegeta, I'll take something of his, as he then steps on Gohan, killing him instantly, to which Piccolo opens his eyes, barely being able to save Gohan, as he's then enraged. As in his rage, he then shouts out, do you think this would be enough to demotivate us? We'll just use the Dragon Balls and fix him. As then Nappa then realizes, so the Dragon Balls are real, hey? Turns out Namekians can actually create Dragon Balls. As this lets Piccolo know that it's not just Kami who can make Dragon Balls, but other Namekians too. As then, this is then heard by Vegeta's scouter, as Vegeta is then notified about this. So is the Freezer Force. Then Piccolo says, well, it's my fault for letting you slide. I should have killed you while I had the chance. Well, I'm not gonna make that mistake twice. As Piccolo then goes into his giant form and pulls Nappa's tail out forcefully, and Nappa shouts in pain. And then Piccolo then opens his mouth and then launches a great blast, vaporizing Nappa from the face of the planet. As while Goku hears what happened to Gohan, as he turns to also kill Vegeta, He then sees Vegeta flying away in his space pod, as he then shouts out, "Thanks for the help with the Dragon Balls. I'll come back once I'm immortal and exact my revenge." As then Goku and Piccolo realize that if they leave Vegeta to have the Dragon Balls, he could come and do anything to their plans, as they then decide that they're going to come to planet Namek and stop Vegeta. They of course tell Bulma what happened, and Bulma is obviously enraged, but they tell Bulma to calm down as they'll wish Gohan back using the Dragon Balls. But then after that, they're going to have to go to planet Namek and stop Vegeta. And of course, Goku's also curious in how it could help his own scientific adventures, as he's sure that the Namekians have their own interesting technology he could borrow. And that's where we'll leave this part off. If you guys enjoy, please subscribe and like. It really motivates me. And yeah, have a good day, guys. See you later.